Hey everybody, I'm Dan of Most Trades, and welcome to the first episode of my Lunar Magic tutorial series. Lunar Magic is weird. It's a really good program, but you have to remember that we're dealing with a lot of rudimentary pieces from Super Mario World. I mean, what was that, 25 years ago? Long time ago, maybe 30. So what I'll be showing you is how to work with what we have. This episode will be covering getting started, familiarizing yourself with the user interface, and all the basics that'll help you create a level and then play it. Alright, let's get started. Hit this button right here to open up your ROM, but make sure to make a duplicate of the original. You want to keep that original, trust me. We might break a lot of stuff, so it's always good to make backups and backups and backups. Next, hit this third folder icon, open a level number, and to keep things organized, just press 1. Alternatively, you can press page up and page down to cycle through levels. If you do this, you're going to see some levels that look familiar. I mean, if you played Super Mario World, which I think you all have. I don't remember this level. Another quick tip so you can get a better view of what's going on here, hold Control and press minus or plus, and you'll be able to zoom in and zoom out. We're going to start fresh. Hold Control, press delete. You'll get this prompt. Press OK. Now we have nothing. Now technically that we have modified this level, if you did want to play it right now, which is a terrible idea, go ahead and click here, Open Overworld Editor window, this castle looking icon. From here you'll see the entire map of Super Mario World. If you press Control, minus, and plus once more, you can see everything that the map has to offer. If we zoom in on the starting area, we can see where Mario starts as well as the first 2 levels. But now, go ahead and press this ghost house icon here, Layer 1 16x16 editor mode, and click on this level right here. Press the yellow icon, open Modify Level Tile Settings. And from here, change level number to use for this tile to 1. Press OK. Save, and exit out. Now, if you were to start up this ROM, you'd be able to play that level, which you would die. I think you would just keep dying. Alright, let's start building. First, let's give some ground for Mario to stand on. First thing you do, make sure you have this icon here selected. It'll say Layer 1 Editing Mode. Very important. Usually we'll switch between Layer 1 Editing Mode and Sprite Editing Mode, the green Koopa shell right next to it. But make sure it's on Layer 1 Editing Mode. Click this question mark block, open 16x16 Tile Map Editor, and you'll now see all the tiles that we can place down on this level. If you scroll down a little bit, you'll see some terrain. This is what we're going to focus on first. Now, I like to assemble all the tiles that I want to use in a space down here. So this is so that I don't have to go looking for them every time I need them. So left click on a tile that you want, for example these corner pieces here, and then right click to paste it in. This area down here is blank and we can use this for our own purposes, such as this. Now after doing this, we have successfully modified our map 16, that's what it's referred to, our 16x16 tile map editor. So what you want to do is press save, which is a different save button than saving your actual level itself. Some very wonky, glitchy stuff will happen if you do not save your map 16 file. Basically, your game is going to look like this with a bunch of random squares on it. We don't want that to happen. As another quick tip, you can select something that you already have with left click and then paste it with right click. You can also select a chunk and click and drag it to extend it. This could make map building a lot faster for you. Next, I want to show you how to use the flip X and flip Y values right here. Always make a duplicate first. If I were to flip these bushes right now, then I would only have upside down bushes. Let's leave that how it is. Go ahead and grab these bushes right here, scroll down, find a blank spot, and then hit flip Y. Don't forget to save, and now you can have some wonky terrain. Why not, right? Alright, that's kind of cool, but I'll show you something a bit more practical than that. Arguably the most important part of map 16 editing is 8x8 editing. go ahead and click this icon right here, 8x8 editing mode. This allows us to select each individual square. I'm going to show you a very important use of what this can do. First, I'm going to grab a corner right here. I'm going to paste that. I'm going to paste that. Do a flip X really quick. I'm going to grab one of these walls right here. And one of these here. And we're going to click save. Click 8x8 editing mode once more. And now that we're here, hold on, it doesn't quite look fulfilled yet. I'm going to show you another example. Now here, all of a sudden I have some more different looking terrain. More often than not, you're going to want to make your hack look pretty. This is tedious, but it will definitely help you work around some of those limitations. Now I really want to cover this act as effect right here. Right now, these say act as 130, which is the same value as a cinder block right here, meaning you'll interact with these tiles the same way you'd interact with a cinder block. I'm going to show you an evil example of what act as can really do. Here I have a duplicate of my cinder block. If you scroll up to the muncher, you can find out that it is act as 12F. I'm going to scroll back down, change my cinder block to 12F right here and hit save. It doesn't look like it, but I now have a deadly cinder block. We can actually read that description right there. A black piranha plant, which is actually an object instead of it. Okay, whatever. Point is, this will kill you. I'm going to place this cinder block over here for now, and we're going to die to it later on. Now the next thing that we can look at for changing our map 16 is actually going to be the palette. Right now you have 8 different palettes to choose from, 0, 1, 2, through 7 right here, and go ahead and click around and you can see that this whatever selected area you have is going to start changing how it looks. Alright, now while we're at it, I'm going to show you how to change this. Go ahead and click this star icon right here. This is your palette for the level. You have 16 rows, and these all relate to different things. Now, this terrain piece right here is on palette 3, which is technically the 4th row down, because it goes 0, 1, 2, 3. And we can see the black and the pink colors right here. Before you do anything with this palette, make sure you have this icon right here clicked. Enable custom palette for this level will be saved with the level. Otherwise, whatever you save in this will then relate to the rest of the game for any other files or levels that use this exact same palette, which there are quite a lot. And from here, yup, things are definitely changing. What if I did this? Yup, looks terrible. How bad can I make this look? Ooh, that's awful. My goodness. I don't like this. I'm going to delete it for now. I'm going to come back to a bit more map 16 detail in a bit. For now, let's get some sprites over here. First, make sure you click this icon, Sprite Editing Mode. It's a green Koopa shell. Next, click this blue Yoshi icon. From here, you're going to be able to see all the sprites that you can put down in this level. Scroll down a bit, you're going to see some Koopas, you might even see some power-ups, some shells, and as well as the, right here, like the normal exit goal point tape. This is how you clear a level. You're going to put this down somewhere later on in the level. Lakitus, Bob-ombs, Wigglers, and Chucks. So in order to put a sprite down, just click on whichever one you want, and just kind of set them down. If you want more information about this sprite, hover over, and you'll see things like it will stay on ledges and crawl into empty shells. Wonderful. And you'll notice that there's a lot of things that aren't included in this current list. But what if we wanted to use all the other sprites? Well, we have some limitations to work with. Go ahead and click this cloud icon right here. What we now have is a list of every sprite in the game with the wrong graphics. You see, we can only use so many graphics per level. I'll show you an example. This right here is the orb at the end of castles. Maybe you're wondering, what if we can change some of those settings so I can have stuff like the orb in this level? I'll show you how to do that. Click this red poison mushroom, open Super Graphics Bypass. Go ahead and click this, Enable Bypass, and right away I want you to look at this, Graphics Files to load for sprites. Now, SP1 and SP2 usually load files that are going to be in every single level. SP3 and SP4 are the ones that relate to the sprites that we're going to use for our enemies. Now, I happen to know that the orb uses SP4, and let's try to see which file it uses. I already know which file it uses, but just watch this. Let's change it to 3 for a second. And that is definitely not the right thing. Let's change it to 4. That is definitely not the right thing. And let's change it to 5. And there we go. A very genuine, authentic goal point sphere that can be used as a normal exit. Wonderful. Now, right away, because we're using a different graphics file, go ahead and click the cloud so it's enabled again. And you can scroll through and you'll actually see some different sprites that you didn't see when you were scrolling around before. So it's up to us to figure out which graphics we do and don't want to use in each level. Now there technically are ways to pick and grab elements from specific graphic files and make your own custom graphic file. But this will be covered in a more advanced episode a little bit later on in the series. Now some sprites have very specific properties, and it's important to read about each sprite before you set it down so you know what it does. A red vertical Koopa, flying up and down 7 tiles up and then back. So if I were to place this Koopa right here, it would fly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 spaces up and end up right around here. Scroll down until you see something called a left flying question block. Now look at this. It will have a coin, flower, feather, or 1-up depending on its X position. Now this sprite shows us what's inside. Right now, there's the 1-up, but if we move it, we see a feather, we see a flower, we see a coin. Sometimes, if you want to use a block like this, it's important to work around it. Get it in the right X position first, and then make your terrain so that it interacts correctly. The same works for the info message box. It can either be a 1 or a 2. 1 or 2. And each level is allowed 2 messages, so depending on the X position of your message block determines what message will be inside this block. One last example before we move on. Say you're wondering, how do I make a disco shell in my Kaizo level? Well, if you hover over the yellow Koopa right here, it says it'll walk off ledges and crawl into empty shells to become a super shell that will follow Mario to try to kill him. So it effectively means you can place a yellow Koopa next to any other shell, and it'll crawl into it and turn into a disco shell. Wait, nope, one more thing. If you scroll very far to the right, you're going to see another sprite. Midway entrance. Grab this Mario, bring it over here, and basically this Mario is where he will spawn once you get the Midway tape. And that moves us on to our next category, objects. First, click your Layer 1 editing mode icon once more, and then click this icon right here, Add Objects Window. Now, you can scroll through these, but go ahead and type in Midway Point Tape. And you're going to notice this right here. I'm going to throw it down, and it's kind of a weird looking thing. And toss it down right here. You know what, let me get rid of these bushes. And next we're going to open up our tiles again, scroll to the top, and you're going to see a lot of familiar pieces right here. Now, there's a very odd difference between tiles and objects. So here you can actually see another Midway tape right here, which Mario can grab. It'll make the sound, it'll register as a checkpoint, but there's a main difference. The object, once you get the checkpoint, everything will be fine. It'll act normally like how you see in Super Mario World, but if you lay down the tile, the checkpoint bar will come back every time Mario dies. Tiles don't have the same properties and definitions and dynamic behaviors as tiles do. But we're still going to go ahead and fill this in because we know this part's not going to come back. So let me draw a quick Midway bar right here. And we're going to place our object over it. Now the object is going to disappear next time, and this is what will be left. That's exactly what we want to happen. I did not use that in Rock Bottle World 1, that's why it keeps returning, and I just learned how to do it the other day by complete accident. But also props to White Moth and Genbu for confirming it moments later. It was an issue. The next example of objects versus tiles is going to be something like a switch block right here. If you hover over it, we can read that it says this will appear as an outline if the switch for this color hasn't been activated yet, like a switch palace. You've all seen these before. But close this out, open up your map 16, and find the tile that looks exactly the same and throw it down. Since this was inserted as a tile rather than as an object, it will always appear this way whether the switch palette has been passed or not. Effectively, objects have more properties and dynamic changes that tiles just naturally don't. For our last object example, go to level number 5. This level uses some tiles that we need by default, so it'll make things a lot easier here. Open up objects and type in on, off. You're gonna see two. You're gonna see these two right here. This one looks like a diagonal line like this, cool. And this one is blank. So I'm gonna throw some of these down also. And what's really happening here is that those tiles' existence is based on the on-off position. If it's on, these are gonna be existent, and if it's off, these are gonna be existent. Just press 0 on your number pad to switch between on and off so you can visualize how you're going to kill Mario or save Mario. Definitely kill Mario. No, I meant save. Save Mario, please. Moving on to tile and sprite files. Now, if you like to customize everything, you're going to be using the red poison mushroom. However, if you like themes, uncheck this box, press OK, and then click the blue poison mushroom. From here, you can actually see which themes each of these different sprite sets give you. So let's try Underground 2, and let's try Underground 2, like this. I'm going to press OK. Everything's going to be really, really wonky for a moment. Wow, those are some very, very, very strange graphics. The types of graphics that were now allotted have changed here. The types of sprites that we can use have now also completely changed. Good lord, it's not working. What did I do wrong? I don't get it. Cave? I thought that was cave. Oh wow. Oh wow. Well, I'm gonna change everything back because this kind of scares me. Next. Alright, number 6, palette. Let's get a fresh level because I'm scared of what's going on in level number 1. This is why we make backups, by the way. Go ahead and change your level to number 10 or use page up, page down to get to it. And the first thing I want to show you how to do, open your palette, make sure you have this enable custom palette for this level selected. Every time you make a new level, make sure this is selected. And we're going to go to our tiles, grab these columns over here. I'm pretty sure they use these colors right here, so go ahead and click this darkest one. Grab some sort of deep dark purple for really no good reason. You could use whatever color you want. And then over here, get some sort of really, really light purple. Now hold Alt and right click here, then right click here, and boom, you get yourself a nice gradient. Now click this Open Background Layer 2 editor, and from here we can see the background. Click on this, gives you the map 16, but scroll down about halfway, you'll see the tiles that we can use for the background. Beautiful, beautiful mountain. And it doesn't use all of the colors here right away, but you could still change this. Maybe I wanted like some sort of gray. And I don't know, let's see what other stuff this covers. And you can see that all these tiles are now changed, so you can have some kind of darker, closer mountains and then some lighter ones further in the background or foreground, whatever you want. If you ever want to change the aesthetics of Mario, if you want to change him to Luigi, honestly, my best idea for that is to just start kind of pressing random colors and seeing if it changes what Mario looks like. Oh god. Now all your tiles, when you scroll over them, they will tell you which palette they're using. Palette 0, for example, is the top row. These are using palette 5, palette 4, 0, 1, 2. So let's change this greenery here. There we go. So now we have a modified palette. Not bad. Terrible, but not bad. Number 7, final details. Just some stuff to get you on your feet, get your level kind of going, make it a bit more closer to how you want it to end. Let's lay down a finish line here. I like to kind of piece mine together like this. So there's going to be 7 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's hold it up. Let's go here. Here we go. Get to our sprites. Find that gold tape. Throw it down there right at the bottom. Cool, easy peasy. Next, click this this Mario head here, change properties in header. Here you can change things like no vertical scroll or vertical scroll at will if you want Mario to kind of jump up and down and kind of climb up and down through the level. There's a couple of other options here that you can kind of find out on your own. Let's do no vertical scroll. While we're in here, you can actually change the shape of your level. Anything from a vertical level, way down here, to a horizontal level, way up here. And you can see, if you really wanted to, you can see how the levels kind of start out like a rectangle, and then they very slowly go from like this until they're like really thin and really tall. By the way, don't mess around with this. When you've already made a level, it will delete everything that is not on the screen, so be very, very careful with that. Thank you, please and thank you. If you want to place a doorway, let's go ahead and do that. Layer 1, let's throw down a door right here for no good reason. Go to View and press Screen Exits right here. And we'll see that this is in screen exit number 1. This is the way how Super Mario World works. If you enter any door that's in 1, they will all do the same thing. So from here, click on this. Open Modify Screen Exits dialog. Screen number exit to modify. Well, we know it's in 1, so let's click there. And level destination or secondary exit number, let's bring them back to level 10. Seems like a great idea. Save, and now let's go to level 10. And click on your entrance to level 10 Mario here, and right click until you see this one, secondary entrance number 10. If we go back to level 1 and check out our modify screen exits dialog, we also have this option here, use the above value as a secondary exit number. So that Mario number 010 is where he would spit out if we were to click this right here. If not, he's going to appear at the regular entrance of level 10, and if this one's checked, he's going to go to the Midway entrance. Alright, so we broke a lot of stuff, we made a lot of stuff. Those are all the basics to get you started. You can play around with everything that you learned today. You can basically make entire levels, and you can do this for... Ooh, that's pretty much it, but let me do one last thing before I get you on your way. Go ahead and go back to your Overworld editor. And from here, go to View and look at Show Level Numbers. So from here, you can actually see the order of the levels that you'll be playing. So if you want to look at like what level 103 looks like, go back here, type in 103, and this is, you might recognize this. This is, you know, that exact level in Super Mario World. Event numbers, this is something that we'll get into on the next episode, a bit more detailed content. But for now, leave everything about in the way how it is right now. Alright guys, thank you all so much for watching the first episode of my Lunar Magic tutorial series. I hope you learned all the basics, got familiar with the user interface, and maybe even learned something new. Maybe you found something cool on your own. It turns out I'm learning new things about Lunar Magic basically every time I use it. Every couple of days I have a question, I'll go on SMW Central, either the website, look through the forums, or the Discord, and try to figure out what to do. But you know what, I think together we can all figure out how to use it, as well as all the other software that works very well with Lunar Magic, which we'll be getting into later on. In future episodes, we'll be diving into detail for specific portions, for example, the Overworld, or custom graphics, certain software like YYCHR, or even porting music. So I hope you join me for those. Alright, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.